Let's play this final clip. This is Mehdi Hassan with Cornel West talking about the whole, the sort of cancel culture thing. And as always, I think Cornel West has a very profound and important perspective on it. And I just, Professor Wolff, if you could, after this clip, touch on, obviously, Dr. West is a Christian socialist. And I am someone who is a, big believer that the spiritual and the religious has to be a part of a broader left coalition argument, whatever. But I'm also a big believer that some of the things that he's putting forward here in his system as Christian, that there are corollaries in an entirely secular way as well. That this same generosity of spirit, the same maturity, the same bigness of vision can manifest in a variety of different ways and needs to if we want to actually build the kind of solidarity we're talking about. So I'd like maybe some thoughts on it after we play this clip.
Could we get the sound?
And we'll get the sound so Professor Wolff can hear it.
A major criticism you hear among some black leaders, among some black politicians and activists these days, is the way in which so-called wokeness and call-out culture, quote unquote, have become substitutes for genuine action, for social movements that you yourself have always believed are necessary for change. Do you share that criticism? It's come from different corners, from people associated with Black Lives Matter, from Barack Obama, from other people saying, you have to get out there. It can't just be going on Twitter and calling people out. Do you agree with that criticism, or do you think it's unfair?
Well, I think the first thing to say is fundamentally it's not about identity. It's about solidarity. It's not about your skin pigmentation. It's about the quality of your courage connected to poor and working people. I don't believe in canceling anybody. I mean, Christians don't believe in canceling people. Everybody can bounce back. I believe everybody's a brother and sister, and they have the capacity to be changed and transformed. So I don't believe in canceling anybody whatsoever. But I do, in fact, say that when we talk about wokeness, I'm not talking about just being woke, because you can be obsessed with wokeness and suffer from insomnia. I'm talking about being fortified. Are you a fighter in the long run? We don't want people woke and sprinters and run out of gas, and the next thing you know, they end up well-adjusted to injustice. That's like so much of the bourgeoisies, no matter what color they are. Middle-class folks that just can't wait to be engaged in upward mobility in order to go mainstream and become a new star with all the spectacle and overlook what's going on the ground of people who are suffering. That's not the model. The model is Martin King, Fannie Lou Hamer, and Ella Baker. What are they talking about? Fortified. Are you fortified for the long run? Do you have your cemetery clothes on? Are you coffin ready to live and die for something bigger than you, like a fundamental transformation of a capitalist civilization? That's my tradition.
One last question, Cornel West. Looking forward 5 or 10 years, do you think we'll still be having these same conversations in the United States?
Oh, wait, you can end it now, actually. Yeah, that was the other point. Are you fortified, Professor Wolff?
I sure hope so. And I must say, and I think Cornel would agree, and perhaps we can have a conversation with him in the near future.
We're working on it.
Yes. That he is a fighter. He is somebody who's not, he is a professor, and he understands the importance of teaching. He is a teacher across the board. He admires Martin Luther King basically because he was a teacher too, even though he was a minister, but it was teaching that he did. And I think he's that thing which we don't understand, which is he's an intellectual who's an activist. It's not either or. He's an academic who's an activist. He's active in academia, but outside it as well. He doesn't accept that there's a boundary that limits his activism, and there's no boundary that limits his teaching function. It's not just in the classroom. It's in the church or on the street, and he's been wonderful that way. And teaching by his own example as a model, that you can be thoughtful, studious, read books, and be an active, fortified, long-run fighter at the same time. And I think if he were here, I can't speak for him, obviously, but if he were here, he would tell you that it's his study that helps him be the activist. It's his activism that guides his study, and that's how it should be. It's not either. The separation is one of those divisions, the boundaries and disciplines, in the worst sense of that word, that have to be overcome. He, like me, and I've talked with him about this, we're horrified by the way American universities are organized, these rigid boundaries. Political science is here, history is over here. I remember when I was a student, I raised my hand to ask a question, had my teacher tell me, oh, you got to ask that to another professor. That's not nonsense. These boundaries are artificial and inhibit the bringing together of insights from different fields, which is what you need to do good intellectual work, just like you need to know what's going on in the society to do good intellectual work, and you need good study habits and experience to make good decisions in your activism. We need to bring these things together and not have some crude division of labor that hampers everybody.
Dr. West is our model in so many things. You just watched a Michael Brooks show video. Subscribe to get them all. Why wouldn't you? Don't be foolish. Click subscribe below and become a patron as well. Patreon.com/TMBS. Thanks, everybody.